I'm just looking at my stubbornness right now, my hard head, and feeling regretful, to be totally honest, in the present moment. This is my video journal for anyone who's new. It's not intended to be advice or guidance. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. Hard-headedness, stubbornness, and this pedal to the metal attitude where I just want to do everything right now. And like anything, I'm becoming more aware of this because I'm seeing it in other people around me. It seems to be one of the fastest ways for me to highlight things inside myself. I just see somebody else doing it and I go, oh, I do that. I just want everything now. And it probably robs me of a lot of joy in the present moment, because I'm always wishing that I could be, because I set big goals and I set clear goals and I have strong intention and I work really hard to get to these outcomes. I know what I want and I know how to get it and I'm on my way there, but sometimes I lose myself in the I'm on my way there part, and that really sucks. Because one analogy that I had in my head that I was thinking was kind of funny, but then upon reflection it became less funny, was like, I'm building this amazing thing out of Lego. Like you've got your box of Lego tipped out on the floor, and I'm going to use every single piece that I have to create like this thing. I've got the plan, I know exactly what I'm doing, and then somebody else comes along and they want to make something like just quirky, strange and cool out of the same Lego that they want to share, you know, like share the Lego. And like I'm like, no, I need all those pieces. Like I don't care about your cool creative little thing that you want to do with it. I've got the plan. I'm going to make the thing, like I'm going to make the picture on the side of the box, like, and my stubbornness and everything gets in the way. It's less and less. This isn't something that I'm totally unconscious of. I'm trying to be a team player and you know, work with people and everything, and have relationships where I create a little bit more wiggle room for, you know, what the other person's bringing to the table and stuff like that. But I'm just something really weird here, like so used to being alone or something, or so used to having to do everything yourself. I think the words that came out of my mouth at one point were like, you can only count on yourself, like you can't count on anybody else but yourself, that kind of mentality. So like, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on inside of me while I'm expressing this. But yeah, I said regretful. Like I feel regretful, and I don't often even look at I don't even create space for considering regret. I'm like, I live my life with no regrets, but I think that's kind of an ideal, and you know, these ideals that we have can blind us from the truth more than anything, because we're like, I'm not supposed to have regrets, I'm supposed to just look on the bright side and look at like all of these things were lessons. But as I'm looking back over my life, I can definitely see things where I feel deep regret, and there's no amount of idealizing or rewriting that narrative in my own head, like just telling the story in a different way to myself that can make it less regretful. Like I just wish that it was different. And that might sound like useless, like I think I'm expressing like I used to think regret was useless because it's like you can't change the past. But without even like, you know, without even looking at this through the lens that I now have to understand dimensions of time, like you can change the present anyway. Like I could go back and fix these relationships. I could go back and I say it all the time, like if you want to do something, just because you didn't take the path that led you straight there doesn't mean that you can't get there. I always say, actually, a quote from Finding Nemo: all drains lead to the ocean, Nemo. Like, when I'm with people and we take a wrong turn, or like we don't know the way to get to the destination, it's like, we'll figure it out, is what I'm saying. But it's like, I always say, all drains lead to the ocean, Nemo, even though that's like a totally inaccurate thing in that movie. All drains lead to wastewater treatment plants that will fuck fish up. Fish, do not do this. If any fish are watching. Oh man, absurdity. So yeah, feeling regretful, owning that, and realizing that regret is actually a helpful emotion if you treat it as emotion should be treated. Like, feel it, it comes up, you feel it, you look at it, you go, what is your purpose? Like, why am I feeling this? What does this indicate? Like, what do I need to do? And then we actually do something about it, instead of just, okay, I feel angry, I'm gonna bottle that up and repress that and store it all in my cells of my body and wait until something else makes me angry and store that, or, you know, like, just internalizing everything. Actually look at this stuff. Why do I feel regretful? Because I've done some dumb fucking shit that I hate. I'm really upset about it, and I've been telling myself for years and years that it's totally okay, it was just a lesson, move on with your life, just what's next? Like, you can create something even better, you can, like, you've learned your lessons from that, like, that was just a bunch of bad stuff that happened, just keep your eyes on the horizon in front of you, don't look back. But I don't know, at the same time as that's all coming up, to be fully transparent, I'm still thinking, fuck regret. Like, I don't want to start looking back at everything either. I don't want to, like, go and repeat a bunch of stuff that I've already done. And I also understand with, like, past relationships, like, you can't start over again. Like, you can't actually just pretend that none of this stuff ever happened. All these stories live inside the other person. Even if you can forgive yourself and you can forgive them, can they forgive themselves? Can they forgive you? Can they forgive any other parties that are involved in all of the drama? Does anyone else even have the motivation to make these changes? Like, that's a heartbreaking moment when you, like, reach out to someone and you're like, you know, it's been a long time, I'm sorry that everything was really bad, and I've changed heaps, and I would like to get to know you again. I'd like to build a relationship. And there's, like, not one particular relationship I have like this, there's heaps. And I've done so much work on, like, relationships and myself, and, like, what I'm reacting to in relationships and what I'm creating in relationships that's detrimental to me and other people. And I've looked at all this stuff, and now I'm like, okay, I know how to do this kind of now. And, you know, there's so many cool people in the past that, like, I just want to go make amends with. Do I want to make amends? It's like, this is the big question right now. Do I want to? Because it feels like this weird loose ends kind of vibe. Like, yeah, you've changed and you're a better person now, but, like, all those other people are still walking around with these stories inside of them and all these internalized emotions, and they're still reacting to the old you. So it's like, maybe the new you could go and interact with them, and it would actually bring them some kind of relief. Like, even if it's not like, let's be best friends again, or like, let's start, like, doing all the things that we used to do, or anything, like, just catching up once even. It's like a thing that they do in, like, Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous too. Like, I think, like, step 4 or something is go and, like, apologize to everybody that you've wronged. Like, I think there's power in that kind of thing, like making amends, like, not just leaving all those stories as they were in this really negative kind of place. And I'm not saying that I'm going to take action on this particularly in the moment right now. I'm just kind of feeling it out, and it's like the first time that I've expressed this regretfulness. So it's like, I'm exploring it. I'm not sure what to do about this. And that's, like, the beauty of, like, actually looking at your stuff. Like, people think if I look at it, then everything's going to change. Like, if I admit to myself that I'm scared, then I've got to face my fear. No, you don't. Like, it's okay. You can just admit to yourself that you're scared, and that's huge. Like, you don't have to go do the scary thing today. Like, you could do it in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Just admitting to yourself that you're scared is just freeing yourself that little bit more. Like, just the truth will set you free. That's what it's about, right? I think in this moment, that's what's speaking to me. Like, being honest with yourself, like, I'm fucking scared, or like, that makes me angry, is like such a huge step. Like, you don't have to change the feeling. You just got to feel the feeling and then be like, what is this? And like, you know, I might not think about this again. I might just push this to the side and go and focus on a whole bunch of other stuff and forget about it for ages. But I feel better that I've expressed regretfulness. And it's like it's such a nice feeling. I wish that you could like feel the feeling. Maybe you can feel the feeling because you're having insights about your own stuff that you've been repressing. Because, you know, that's what the journals do. It's not like me telling you anything. It's you. It's like we're creating space together to think our thoughts and feel our feelings. Like, as I'm talking, you're probably thinking and feeling in sort of alignment with what I'm sharing. Like, you're in a similar space and having similar insights, but they're still your insights. It's like, it's the same when you're having a conversation with your best friend or a partner or your mother or something, you know, like, you're having a conversation with yourself as much as you're having a conversation with them. You're learning about yourself while you're communicating, and you're expressing what's inside of you. And, you know, the more gifted a conversationalist you have in front of you, the more it's going to encourage and inspire that expression within you as well. And it's going to become like this tennis game of like passing insights back and forward, and like, as that's happening, we're learning and growing. It's like a fascinating thing. But I've actually got to get to Brisbane now. So if you get anything out of these journals, please pass them on to other people you know who will benefit. Like, sometimes I might just say just the right thing. You're like, oh, my mate needs to hear this. This will be the Kickstarter for his personal development journey or his mental health journey. Do it. Like, share that stuff. Send it in a message. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because like, I'm just going to keep sharing my journey. And it's like, I'm at a point now where I'm kind of like proud of where I'm at, and I feel kind of confident in like what I'm putting on the internet. I've done thousands of these and I've deleted a lot of them, but like now I'm like, okay, I don't want to delete them anymore. I just want to be. And also leave your comments down below, because I love to hear other people's insights, and I love to hear what's going on with other people as they're like witnessing me sharing live what's happening inside of me. It's interesting to see how it's received by so many different kinds of people. And yeah, I'll see you again very shortly, of course.